And good evening, welcome back to a Sunday Night Live from a very sunny place. Yes, you won't be able to see me too much. I'm a silhouette, but trust me, it will sun go down, and I'm not obviously not the main attraction at all this evening. So yeah, welcome aboard. Before we do a quick season has officially started now. It's now beginning of July. Contracts are contracts are gone in terms of all out of contract, so we can obviously look at players and well, pre-season started yesterday with a lovely 2-0 win at Bedford Town. We are now counting out as an official win, so now the winning or the not winning run is over officially. Probably won't stand in the record books, but yeah. So who are we joined? We're joined by Matt Haylock tonight. So the training kit came out yesterday. Those of you at Bedford Town yesterday would have seen the kit being worn, well, the training kit being worn, and a very fetching. I'm not too sure what we're calling it, a temporary kit. I'm sure Matt will fill me in on that side of it. But that's available, so Matt's going to join us. And then this is what's joined in terms of tuna winner at Bedford. We've got a trialist return. Everyone has a trialist. We had trialist A, trialist B, and we're going to discuss player recruitment. I can see Rob's just joined us. Rob, I'm going to leave you out of loop in a minute just because I haven't got a transition for you. So I'm just going to bring quickly myself in. Here we go. And I'm just going to turn off your mute because I think I muted you all because I'm nice like that. Evening, George. I've put it as main. This is worrying actually. I'm going to change it quickly because I put Jordan as the main picture. That's going to be scary. George, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. And by the way, this is pre-season, so this is a warm-up. So if anything goes wrong, which it probably will, who cares? It's pre-season. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Hello, mate. Yeah, no problem at all.
Good, good. And yeah, so Matt, let's go with you in terms of this is obviously this part of the season. We all think it's close season and stuff like that, but I imagine for you in the club shop, it's challenging time for you.
Yeah, it's something always we always get people saying to us, "Oh God, yeah, I bet you're enjoying the break over the summer," and you're like, "No, this is when all the real work happens, really, because you're getting everything set up, and then the rest of the season it kind of looks after itself a little bit. Obviously, the rest of the season you're then topping up with things like leisure wear and things like that, and new little bits and bobs coming in, but the main work comes in over the summer, and certainly this last week has been pretty horrendous. But we're we're over the hump with getting this first lot of training kit in, but still obviously still waiting for the playing kit to come in and get that all sorted as well. So it's certainly not over yet.
Certainly. So obviously out with the old, in with the new. Obviously no longer now. Obviously with Puma and now in with Humil. How difficult is that, the transition side of it from in terms of? Cause I'm sure you've got stuff on the website. Can you still sell stuff from Puma? How does it work when you have a transition from a new supplier?
No. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever done it as the full-time retail manager. It's very challenging because people may not realise as well that in the last week of June you have a stock take as well. So this was a stock take, and stock takes are not just for the system. These are the stock take is you have auditors coming in. It's quite a big deal, and it's basically what your insurance is set on as well. So they use those figures for that. So it's the auditors will then come in and they will cross-check loads of your counts as well. So it's a bit nerve-wracking when you got someone in a suit there counting stuff that you've already counted. But that went extremely well. I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to organisation, so they said on Thursday, "God, I can't believe how organised this is." And then they start telling you about other places they've been, and you're like, "Oh my God, I didn't think we were that good." But yeah, we passed that with flying colours. So it was kind of packing everything away in boxes, and I mean everything Puma away in boxes, counting them as you go, checking the Hummel kit as it came in, doing a complete count of that as well, comparing that to what they have said they've sent us. And then obviously packing it all out in the shop as well. And we couldn't even start packing it out in the shop until the auditors had been. and so that was kind of Thursday afternoon. So Thursday afternoon, evening, and then the whole of Friday was getting the shop completely ready to go yesterday as well.
Right.
And no, we are not allowed to sell anything Puma.
Yeah.
That's part of the contract. I did ask the question of them. Look, we always have a big January sale, and that's where we sell last year's stuff at a knockdown price. And they said, ideally, you wouldn't sell anything Puma. And I hope they're not listening, but I pounced on that. But ideally, right? Well, that means I can do it.
This is not a no, is it?
No, it's not. They didn't say it's forbidden. They said ideally you wouldn't. So we will be having Puma stuff on sale in January.
Yeah, cool. So obviously we had the training gear on a show at Bedford. I'm going to call it Bedford, and I am, but it's Bedford Town. George has had to do some more transitions. What did you think, mate? I was quite impressed with it.
Yeah, I thought it was a brilliant training kit. I think it's certainly nicer than. I hope you don't mind me saying this, mate. It's nicer than the one we had last year, and it's nice that we've got a lot more variety in as well in terms of the colouring. And it's nice to see that in the shop you guys have been able to get, pretty much a complete range in rather than just very limited options which we've had in the past. But it looks good, and hopefully the quality holds up.
Yeah, so that was a conscious decision. I've experienced over the last few years, and like the whole of my role is always learning as well. So you figure out what's not going so well, and you try and change it for the following season. So we've had a few seasons where the first team has suddenly come out in something that I knew nothing about, and we get people saying, and the classic example last year was these white tracksuit tops. Like, why haven't you got them in? It's like, I didn't even know I didn't even know we had them. And so it would be because the first team had met with the provider, i.e. Puma, decided what they wanted, and then we were given options as well. And it didn't include some of the stuff they did. So I sat down with Robin this year and Hummel, and I said, whatever they're having, we want the option to have as well. So I think that we have got every single thing that they have, bar one thing, which is the white polo, which you wouldn't have seen yesterday anyway. They've got a white polo shirt, but I just thought our fans have just had 2 years of white polo shirts, and we've got so many left over that I just thought, no, not a third year. So that's the only thing we haven't got. Anything else that the first team have, touch wood, we should be stocking as well.
Rob, what was your favourite bit of leisure? I don't call it leisure wear, training wear. What was your favourite bit of gear? That's only Rob as well.
You know what? I quite liked. There was quite a lot on show yesterday, so I'm trying to remember all. But I quite liked the green, khaki hoodie, jumper.
Yeah,
I thought that looked quite nice. I thought that looked quite smart. Can I just say, Stu, it's good to be back on Sunday Night Live and football back yesterday, and providing free content for the fans as well. It's good to be back. And also, can I also just say whilst I'm here, you need some new curtains. Your curtains don't work.
Yeah.
We're going to see an outline of some earphones.
No, do you know what? The problem is, right, is like my wife, when she bought the curtains, she bought they're not even curtains, they're just material, flimsy material. And it don't really stop the sun coming in. But I don't know, we do things in the summer, do we? We do this in the summer, so...
You know what? I found out my earphones are packed up, so I'm wearing my work headphones. I feel like I'm at work at the moment, sitting on my laptop with my work headphones on. But yeah, it's good to be back.
Right, so actually, you've led me in quite well, Rob, to what you like. So let's go in with that then. So this is... Is that coming in? Oh, yeah, 1 second, that would... Oh, God, yeah. Graphics. Here we are. Look, so I told you this was a warm-up for us all, didn't I? So let me just get these in. Here we are. So, no, that's the wrong one. That's not the right one. Where was this go? Here we are. I think this is the right one.
Yeah, that's got the hoodies in.
Yeah, there we are. Oh, God, there, Stewie. Right, okay.
You're getting this, Drew.
This all went so well, didn't it? I have no idea why it's doing this. Let me just... You've got now loads of... I know why. There we are. That look right? There we go, yeah. Well, no,
we're missing the hoodies, though, or are you going to bring them on next?
I will bring one next. Obviously, you now realise I have no idea why the transition is doing that. But, yeah, let's have a look through. So, some decent stuff there. The polos, Rob, polos for you? I'm not a polo man, but I always loved them.
I'm not sure. The only one I'm not sure, Matt might not like me saying this, but the one with the red zip. It feels a bit Charlton-y
Yeah.
for me.
Oh, you said this yesterday.
Yeah, it feels a bit Charlton-y. But I like the rest of the polos. I like the rest of the training tops. But look, not everyone's got different taste in things, ain't they? So, I mean, our third kit last season had red on it. So,
yeah, certainly with the polos, the blue one is actually something that the first team doesn't have, I think, because the black one that we were offered, which I absolutely love, by the way, I'll be living in that, I think, didn't come in child sizes. So I always like to have, you'd be able to have dads and kids wearing the same thing if they want to. And so that's why we got this extra polo in. And plus the black one's pretty expensive as well. And I was like, look, have you got a slightly cheaper option? So they came back with that blue one as well. So the grey, we just wanted to. They basically wanted a different colourway for different parts of the team. So the grey one is the goalkeepers, and same with the training tee. The teal one is for the management, and then the blue one is worn by the players.
Superb. The colours, and I love the colour names like teal and stuff like that. I'm just like purple. But there's interesting colours this time, Matt.
I think I can't remember. There's like bluebird, celestial. But the grey one is asphalt. So I was just like, look, people aren't going to know what this means. So I kind of changed it. And I don't know whether I've actually got the teal one right. If anyone wants to correct me on that, I can always change it halfway through the season. But they always come up with these weird and wonderful names, and then we'll just try and simplify it the best we can.
Cool. I think I'm going to literally just get the next one, but I think I'm going to have to let you. Yeah, I think that's what's going to go. I knew that was going to happen. So let me just get the next page. Here we go. Rob, you're loving this, aren't you?
Love watching you struggle. Something's never changed, isn't it? New season, same technical mishaps.
Do you know what the funny thing is? Right, is like transitions normally work, but the software we use, they've here we go. See, seamless. The software we use has updated, so yeah, they probably changed some of the things we had. Now this is I must admit, this is more me because Matt, winter, it's a winter sport. It's not a summer sport, is it? Do you know what I mean? So I'm more like the hoodies and that. I think the range is really good. And I must admit, I wasn't too sure when I saw some of the pictures because it's like pictures sometimes, isn't it? But actually, the middle one there, which is I'm not too sure what the colour is, I absolutely loved.
The colour there is, I've called it olive. I will call that grape leaf.
Really?
Yeah. You'll see on the right hand side there as well. We've got like an all-weather jacket and a bench coat.
Yeah.
So and they only come in that colour, which is celestial, which I've called teal. All-weather jacket is a really nice coat. It's properly waterproof, and you can just. I mean, it will be more for people coming in the shop, I think, and actually seeing it and feeling it. And the bench coat is like that is a proper coat. I mean, that's really, really nice. That's properly going to keep you warm. And we will have as well, that hasn't been delivered yet, the sort of puffer jacket kind of style that we called a bench coat last year, and that will be in black. So anyone who does want a black coat, that'll be coming in soon. We have had a couple of issues, so we haven't had all of our sizes, all of our stock in the training kit yet. I could sit here and I could moan about Hummel and isn't this terrible? It's a situation that we found ourselves in, so we're just making the most of it. There's me ranting and raving about it and make it suddenly appear. So believe me, I was absolutely livid when I found out, but I'm a bit more chilled about it now, because it will come in. We're talking about another week or two. And so, we'll just go with what we've got at the moment. So, for example, that what I expect is going to be one of the most popular hoodies, the olive one, don't have all sizes in that yet. So I would advise checking what sizes we've got on the website before you want to come down, if you want to pick one up, because everything that people often don't realise this as well. They'll say, "Oh, you haven't got one in the shop. Have you got one of those line, and it's like, no, it's the same stock. It is exactly the same stock. So
Yeah, we're not that big enough, are we, to have a distribution centre
no,
on that
yeah,
side of it?
yeah.
Do you know what? Actually, the grey one I absolutely loved. Absolutely loved. And they're different, aren't they? Because one is a quarter zip, isn't it? And the other one is a full zip, if that makes sense.
One's a full zip, one's a pullover. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
so...
actually- and then a pullover. That was something I thought the first team were going to do as well, and I've since found out no, that they got theirs both zipped. But I wanted to have that alternative. Some people prefer zipped hoodies, some people prefer pullovers, so that's why we went two different.
It's like the old drill tops. Do you remember the drill tops we used to sell many years ago? Like a really like a rough material. I used to love those. But do you know what? I think what I was quite impressed with is actually what they called on the sleeve, echelons, or I don't know what they're called.
All of them.
Yeah, I think
Chevrons.
Chevrons, that's it, isn't it? Rob's going to laugh. It's probably saying that's on a motorway, Rob, isn't it? But it looks really smart. I must admit, it looks really smart, and it's a real difference from what we've had before on that. Let's have a quick look. So yeah, George, what are you getting? Well, to be fair, you're the ladies now, aren't you? So what are they giving you?
Yeah, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get most of my stuff with them, but I'll be certainly looking to get most of it, or pretty much all of it, because it is, like I said, it's the nicest kit we've had in a long time.
Yeah,
Nicest training kit we've had since the one I'm wearing now is 2-3 years old at this point. But I think it's certainly the nicest we've had in a long time.
that's what I felt.
Certainly those coats. I did need to ask Matt actually. Are those coats? Do they have a hood this year?
Yes, I don't think the ones that are coming in, like the tougher style ones that we had last year, they won't. But these two that we saw on the previous screen, they definitely both have hoods. Yeah,
Superb. And we have put the links
That's good
in.
because that was the problem with the old ones.
Yeah, and we have put the links in the bio as well. If you want to go straight in, I've gone in and got my stuff this morning, so I'm looking forward to it. I was really disappointed because I liked so much stuff, Matt. I was like, this is gonna do me in because like there's just so much choice. I can feel. Sorry.
That's what I'm here for, to empty your wallet.
I know, mate, but you know when you literally start adding it up and think, oh, I like that, and also got my son now. I'm like, well, he's gonna have to sacrifice something because obviously I'm more important. But yeah, oh my days. So what we got? So yeah, shorts and bottoms. So I know this year we have one shorts without pockets and one with pockets, haven't we? So for those like me, I hate wearing shorts without a pocket because I've got nowhere to put my stuff on that.
Yeah, they so we had that last year, but I massively under-ordered on the shorts with pockets last year, so they sold out really quickly. And I'm not one to sit and blame other people when it's my fault. That was totally my fault, but I can always offer an explanation as to my thought process behind it, and that was because we were having to charge £37.50 for those shorts, and I thought, are people going to pay an extra 15, 13, 15 just for some pockets? And evidently, yes. And that's what happened with the the casual hoodie and the casual shorts last year, the Puma, the grey ones. We were they were so expensive. It was 60 quid for a hoodie, and I was like, "We're actually going to do? I can't believe people were going to pay that." And then it just turns out that I was a cheapskate, and people were more than happy to do that. It was just me that wasn't happy. So we've got a decent amount of them in. I think they're a bit cheaper this year anyway. So that we've got plenty of stock of those, and they are really nice as well.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's the thing, Matt, isn't it? Because obviously, we've moved back from Kings Meadow and Plough Lane is different from every little way you look at it, from location, but also the fact people can get there, can't they? Do you know what I mean? And we've got new fans, and has that surprised you then in terms of the buying habits? Because people, I'm tight like you, Matt, to be honest with you, but ultimately, I would pay an extra £10 for some zips because I lose things. Has it surprised you in terms of the change of maybe buying habits? Is that probably a way to say it?
I'm not sure about buying habits, but the numbers were shocking, like in a good way. And that's not just me. That was all the advice I was given. So that, and then you end up in a position where we ran out. Obviously, everyone knows we ran out of home kit. We ran out of playing kit in a lot of sides. And because all the orders were put in, nearly a year beforehand, we had no idea. We were in the middle of a pandemic. We had no idea what the numbers at Plough Lane were going to be like. We're also, because of the pandemic, we had no money, and they were basically, I was being told, do not over order, because the last thing you want when you've got no money is a load of stock sat in your stock room. I was the phrase "we want the money in the till, not in the stock room" was used many times with me. So yeah, I kind of and again, it would, if anyone's to blame, it's me. I went on we doubled. I mean, I say I went conservative. We doubled what we had previously ordered in adults playing kit, and it still just went. And the difference with that is because of the pandemic as well, it arrived so much later. So what happened with Puma is you order in October for delivery the following June.
Yeah.
And then you got from June until October for them to say, right, you've got one more chance to order for next season. So our lot arrived in September, and then like 3 or 4 weeks later, they go, right, do you want a top-up order for next year? And I'm like, I don't know. We've only had a month. So we did order, but clearly not enough. So we've gone really big on the playing kit this year. So I'm really praying we don't. And plus with Hummel as well, I think with Puma, like I said, you had one chance in 2 years at a top up. With Hummel, they're saying, look, it will take kind of 4 or 5 months to get in, but you can do it anytime you want. So if it suddenly starts flying and I'm like, oh my God, these numbers are real, I then do have a chance to kind of be a bit more proactive with it.
And that's really helpful, isn't it? Because obviously you didn't get an idea of what's popular and stuff like that on that side, I'm guessing. It was just
the numbers, really. I've told a few people that our biggest match day takings before we got to Plough Lane was I don't know if you remember, it was a 0-0 draw with Coventry in 2018 maybe. And we took £10,000 in a day, and we were like, my God, this is like a record. This is brilliant. And then we came to Bolton last season, and we took 25 grand on the first day. Wow. And it's like, God, this is a whole new world. So it allowed us to then go bigger on things like the leisure wear orders and stuff like that. And then, not that you get a better price necessarily, but it keeps things ticking over for a bit longer as well. But we're still going to go this year with going quite low on leisure wear and things like that, because I don't want things sat around in that shop for a year. I want I want things in there, certainly leisure wear. I want them in there for 6 months and then change it, keep it refreshed, so people have new stuff to look at more often than not.
Definitely. I don't know about Rob. I'm just thinking, like, normally when we get there, I normally go into a shop, but I'm gonna have to make a sharp left because I'm gonna spend every game otherwise on that. And Rob, what you so we were talking about this yesterday, Rob, weren't we? In terms of, I love all these t-shirts. I think they're great, to be honest with you. Rob, what's not your favourite, but what I know what my favourite is because I've ordered it this morning. What's your favourite, Rob? Not the red trim, obviously.
Not the red Charlton trim, no, unfortunately. I really like the two match day tees on the right hand side, the blue and the black. I think they look really smart on the players yesterday when they were warming up. And I do like the teal blue top, which the managers wear as well. I think that looks smart. But yeah, if I was going to buy any, it would be the two on the right hand side for the training tops. But I'm waiting for the kit to come out because I'm probably going to get all 3 kits and then maybe the green hoodie, and I'm in the same position as you, Stu. I could just spend money and keep spending money, which will make Matt happy, but it won't make my bank account too happy. So
I literally went to my my wife yesterday. I was like, "What's my budget?" And she's like, "What do you want?" I was like, "No." I asked the first question on that side. George, what ones are you looking at? Are you going to go for the Charlton? We can't call it the Charlton red, Matt. We won't do that. It's just a Rob's done that.
Anyway,
no, Again, I think it's the teal stuff looks good. I think the black polo looks very good. And then, it's the teal stuff that I quite like. And the coats. It's nice to have a big coat finally.
You like the coats, don't you? You like the coat. Yeah. And then, George, you go everywhere, do you know what I mean? Which is cold, isn't it? You stand outside a long time as well, don't you? So.
Yeah.
What time did you get to the game yesterday in Bedford? 9:20 a.m. I got some pictures through, George.
Yeah, it was about then.
No wonder you need a few jackets. You're going to catch hypothermia.
You got to laugh this, Matt. George, what happened yesterday? Did you stay outside long?
No, their chairman invited me in and gave me a tour of the ground again.
Right.
It seems to happen a fair amount when I go to these places for away games.
And then I went to buy
chairman's guest.
I went to buy George a drink, and they wouldn't let me buy it. He got it on the house.
Wow.
I know. So, it's
See,
quite...
it pays off being a weirdo. Standing outside the fans.
So I've ordered the blue. I call it a blue checkered one. I'm not too sure. It's got a sort of design on it, Matt, hasn't it?
It's known as sublimated. It's got a sublimated design. I have actually ordered. I'm pretty sure I've ordered more of those 2 sublimated T-shirts that I have of the other ones. But I did say earlier that I own up to my mistakes. Oh Jesus!
No, I'd go for that. I'd go for that.
Oh no! When they came in, so I've taken over the ordering for the whole club.
Right.
This is the first season I've done it, and things have gone to shit. So I don't know. Paul Moran, who's a bit of an unsung hero in the club, he used to do all the ordering for Puma, and he's now stadium manager. So he's got a lot of responsibility now. So it didn't make sense for him to keep doing it. And I said I'd take over, and he said, well, when you do the ordering, kind of like October, November, you're all cocky about it, and then when it comes around to June, when it comes in, you start, oh God, did I do it all right? There's nothing you can do about that time. And we have had one issue, which is totally my fault, but it will be rectified in a couple of weeks. In that, when I was ordering the retail side, I went. You have a curve of sizes that you order. So it's small, medium, large, XL. And so I think I ordered 30 small, 50 large, and so in between that should be 40 for medium, and I typed 4. I missed out the 0, and then I copied and pasted that down for the other 2. So we got 4 medium in of each, and I'm like, what's going on here? And they went, that's how many you ordered. But in my defence, not that I'm trying to deflect at all, there was a sanity check done by someone else here, and there was a sanity check done by Hummel as well, and no one else picked it up either. So, I do apologise to anyone in the medium who wants a plain training T-shirt. That is all on me. It was a typo, but you make mistakes. People.
To be fair, I ain't going to fit into a medium, so don't be bothering me too, Matt. So those of you who fit in medium, that's your own fault.
You either have to put on weight or lose weight if you fit on a medium. If you go down the gym or eat more cake, that's the solution.
Go into the fan zone, have some chips. I'm missing my chips already on that side. Let's have a look. So let's go through some questions. Square Stacey, hello mate. Am I right in thinking a training kit is off the peg, but everything else will be bespoke?
So the training kit is off the peg. The walkout jacket. So we have got the walkout jacket at the moment, but they are basically, we've got a home and away walkout jacket this season. They are something to behold. They are
more money.
They're a bit more expensive than last year, but because those ones we had last year, which were a bit Marmite actually, a lot of people hated them and a lot of people loved them. But they were just off the peg as well. But these ones are properly bespoke and they are stunning. So they're bespoke. The 3 outfield kits are bespoke. I think the goalkeeper kits are actually off the peg, but they're very nice anyway. And that's why it's going to take you 4 or 5 months to get replacements in for playing kit or restocking, because they are bespoke. If they could just get them off. I mean, for example, the ones that the temporary kits that the players wore, that was something else that we were running around like headless chickens. I was trying to do that at the same time I was counting the Hummel stock. And I was literally running from boxes, counting, running back to my laptop. And I mean running, trying to sort out these temporary kits because it wasn't just the men either. The men have got 2 temporary kits. The women have got a temporary kit, and the academy have got a temporary kit as well. So it's 3 temporary kits. And they're all off the peg, and they were done for us within a week. So that's how quickly you can do an off the peg job. And I don't know if you noticed, but I even said to them, I don't want you mucking around and doing an embroidered crest, because that's going to take even longer. I was so nervous about it not coming in. And like I said, it's been an absolute baptism of fire taking this on this season. But so they just had a printed crest instead of an embroidered one. But I mean, yeah. Then Robin turned around to me yesterday and said he's not even sure they're going to need the blue one they ordered. So I don't know what we're going to do with it. A lot of people have said, "God, I actually really like that." So yeah. In answer to Graham's question, yes. Everything else, I think, except the goalkeeper kits, is bespoke.
Cool. Okay, we've got about 5 or so minutes, and I'll let you go, mate, because I know it's your Sunday evening.
That's all right. See the next question coming in. I can tell you that the fit is pretty much the same as Puma when it comes to the training kit. I was an XL last year. I'm an XL this year.
A more fan fit. I like that, Patrick. That's a great way of putting it. Fan being not as athletic in shape as
I know Matt Harwood moaned that the Puma was that slim fit, and he was wondering is the Hummel slim fit is what he keeps going on about in the WhatsApp.
He calls it slim fit, doesn't he?
I think that's maybe what Patrick means.
I think it's the same kind of fit as Puma. The thing is, you can sort of kind of sell it as a positive in that we wear exactly the same kit as the first team. We don't have there's no separate fit for the fans and the first team, so there has to be some sort of balance because in the first place it's actually made for the first team. So I don't get involved in choosing designs or colorways or anything like that. That's with the first team in mind, and then I get told what they're ordering, and I just like, yeah, I'll have the lot.
Yeah.
So it's not one of these like you get with Chelsea where they have the normal fan fit and then they have their super tight £300.
I was going to say that. Yeah, it's ridiculous now with England and stuff, isn't it? The prices, mate.
Yeah, just we are putting our playing shirt price up to £50. So there's a £2 increase, but I think that's the first increase in 4 years. So
yeah,
I'm hoping people will be understanding of that.
Cool. As always, Graham, always think about money. Auction those shirts. Very, very limited edition.
Yeah.
I'll leave you that one. I know, what else we got? I know Graham had another question, didn't he? Yeah, other than playing kit and train kit just released. So I know you've gone through the walkout jackets, which I think is hilarious because, as you know, Nick doesn't really like the home and away, and he actually doesn't even like the walkout jackets. And now there's a two. It's great. It's great fun. So
I know. I texted you. I said when I found out, I said, "Oh God, Nick do his nut. It's going to do his nutting." And I know Nick said. I think he said before that it was obviously some sort of stupid contract thing with Puma. It wasn't. It was like I said. The first thing I think of when I make any decisions is what are the fans going to think, and likewise. If the players are wearing something and everyone goes nuts about it and says they want it, I will do whatever I can to try and get it in.
Yeah.
So, and I made the point earlier that I didn't always know what the players were getting in. I do now. We've made that change for this season. But when we first wore those kind of light blue walkout jackets, I think we wore them against West Ham in that cup game where everyone kind of noticed them properly. And we're like, why can't we buy these? And it's like, because I had no idea that we had them. And so the following season, we went to do walkout jackets. And they're one of our, it was driven by the fans wanting them. And we just thought it would be, when we saw the quality and the design of the Hummel ones, we were like, I think we should do two because they are stunning. And when people see the kits as well, certainly, the away kit, I think it's going to surprise a few people. It's not yellow. I think that's going to absolutely fly. And so we wanted to have that represented like in a walkout jacket as well.
Yeah. I think I was one of the fans, to be honest with you. But I can't. It's interesting. It goes back to like the West Ham game, actually, thinking about it. But yeah, I absolutely loved them, and I think I was mentioned to you, wasn't I? Do you know what I mean? I'm pleased in a way you've got another one. Also, I can think money's going to go down the drain, and also kit, and also in terms of colour wise, I sort of get it now because obviously we've seen the different colours of this training kit. So, and I'm not going to ask you for any sort of inside info on that anyway. But I can get why there might be different sort of things we haven't had before, if that makes sense on that side. Any questions from you guys before we let Matt go?
Yeah, I was going to ask Matt. Obviously, we've just had a season with crowds at Plough Lane. I presume you must have learned an awful lot in the last year. You said about Bolton, you took 25 grand as opposed to 10 grand. Do you reckon next season it must have been a big learning curve last season? Things must be a bit more smooth sailing for you. Not that there was any real hiccups last year, if I noticed, but you
Yeah,
must be looking forward to the new season, really.
yeah, we didn't have any massive mishaps in the retail side. Really, it was frustrating in a way because, I mean, we smashed it to pieces. We absolutely wrecked our target. We'd hit our target early February.
Are you allowed to share what the target is and what we hit, or if not, then no? I'm just curious as a fan, But if not,
I don't know, so I'm not going to.
fair enough. You don't ask, you don't get.
But so, I can also tell you that over the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, when things were just horrendous on the pitch, the vast majority of emails that the club were getting through the ticket side were, how do I get a season ticket for next season? And this is from the local community. So I knew that the season tickets were going to sell really well, especially on general sale, because the local community have massively bought in to the football club. And when you think of how things went towards the end of last season, or the second half of the season, that bodes really well. And you find this hard to believe, but I think the final day's takings were our 4th highest match day takings of the whole season, and that was our relegation day. So I think that tells you all you need to know, really.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad when you think
Yeah,
because
wasn't expecting that at all.
Because to be fair, Rob, you and I missed. How many goals did we miss against Action? 3 goals.
Lost count, to be fair.
So Rob's logic. So where we are with the studio, Matt. We normally leave around about the 38th minute, because by the time we get down there, we can then get in the queue. With Rob's logic was, well, we're losing, we get hammered. People, let's go at half time. Mate, the queue was absolutely massive, and we missed 3 goals on the back of it.
Oh, can I just say something about match day? We haven't got the final logistics sorted out yet, but we've got a new guy who has started. He's joined us from Millwall's club shop, where he just works Saturdays, and that actually made me feel really good, because he couldn't believe how organised things were, and he's come from a championship club. He said it's horrendous there. I hope no one from Millwall's listening.
Oh, not if not, we don't concur with Matt's faults.
Any other club, God. So he's going to be working every Saturday, whether we're home or away. So it means the shop's now going to be open every Saturday, come rain or shine. But on the home games, the shop is now going to be open, and I've still got to figure out, like I said, all the logistics of this and sit down with security and stuff like that. But it's going to be open from kind of 11 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. Open, so no closing for the game anymore. Alfie will be in there, like restocking and serving people who anyone wants to come in the back door. So I'm thinking how it will work is that at 3 o'clock we'll close the front door, open the door, then people can come in, and then I would say with maybe a quarter of an hour of the match left, we open the front door again as well. Because the reason we haven't done it up till now is because I don't know if many other football clubs have a shop that you can walk through and get into the ground. I don't know if that's a design flaw or what, but you then you obviously then get the problem of people going, well, there's a door here, why can't I come in and buy something? It's like, well, because they don't want someone from one of our a more naughty football club, should we say, with a group of fans just absolutely charge through the front of the shop, through the back door, and they're in the ground. So that's why we haven't been able to do it. So we'll have to chat it through I'll chat it through with Clarkey, the head of security, and we'll sit down, we'll come up with a plan. But it will mean that, particularly on the colder days, I know we have people at the back of the shop wanting to come in and buy hats and scarves and that. So you will be able to do that from this season.
Great idea. And I'm assuming, obviously, when we're winning like 3 or 4-0 in League Two, then people will just come in and, get some stuff. I'm hoping, of course.
Let's hope. I mean, I've been in the job 5 years, and that's 5 years of pretty much struggle on the pitch. So as far as I'm concerned, I've never had a really clear run at it. I know that when I was in South Africa, that Jerry Heaver I was still in contact with the guys from the shop, and Jerry was telling me that it was a few days before the playoff final that obviously I was missing, but he said we've had 300 orders in the last day and a half that we've got to get out tonight. And so that's the sort of thing that happens when you're very successful. We haven't had that since I've been here, so it would be a nice challenge to have.
Superb. Cool. And just finally, before we let you go, Simon Tate, we've met him when he's come over. Thanks for your honesty and hard work, Matt. Cheers for sending my purchases to California so quickly, and he's over on October the 1st. So, yeah, and that's where we are. You know, we've obviously got a lot of overseas fans, haven't we, Matt? And that's nice that they appreciate.
Hopefully, we'll have the playing kit in by then.
Well, do you know what? I wasn't going to put this question up, but as you just know, I'm joking. I'm going to leave that one alone.
The discussion so far, I don't mind saying what we've. The thing I don't like is promising something when I don't know. I'm not going to promise. I tell people what we're aiming for. I don't have a problem with that. We're aiming to have, I think it's 500 or so home shirts delivered mid-July, and then the rest of all of the playing kit will be at the end of July, when my bloody assistant retail manager is on his honeymoon. So it's all down to me.
Of course, yes, of course.
That honeymoon.
And hopefully by then we would have signed a prolific number 9, so you got lots of shirts to print.
There you go. Yeah, get some.
Rob, stop linking stuff in. Matt, thank you very much. I know it's been a lot of hard work, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all your hard work, Matt.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Cool. We'll see you soon, yeah?
Right.
Take care. And then there
Sorry,
was...
Stu, I just can't help myself sometimes.
I know. I was going to say then there was 2, and then I forgot to add you. Sorry,
Is that hint you're trying to get rid of me?
Oh dear, do you know what? You can be the main picture.
Okay, fair enough.
Because obviously I've got a new little puppy who keeps on, trying to find his way on.
And who wants George as the main picture, eh? So there you go.
So that's good. That's good. I was really, do you know what? It's nice to have Matt on actually. I had him on a lot longer than what I thought. But I'm really impressed. Do you know what? I'm going to spend so much money, George. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
It's
days,
going to be one of those summers, isn't it?
Oh mate, I'm going to be divorced. Well, actually,
You know what? I'm kind of glad we're getting. You know what? I'm kind of glad we're getting a new kit because I know we got relegated. Everyone's obviously disappointed, but it just feels like a new season, new manager, new kit. League 2, new teams to play. It just feels like a complete fresh start. So
yeah, definitely. But this isn't a fresh. Well, to be fair, that's a good link in actually.
They got new trim for George as well.
George had a haircut.
Yeah.
I know. It surprised me when I saw George yesterday.
Well, it's my one for the season, so we're done now.
Do they charge you more, George? Because obviously when you go in, you have a lot of hair. Or do they give you still the same rate?
I hope they were charging me more than everyone else, otherwise that was a very expensive haircut.
Comes from me with no hair. And no beard, actually. A beard will come back in the winter when it's cold. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, you've had a dream. You've had a trim. Have we got any other kits coming in? Where you went, Rob?
I think we'd all like a sign-in. Wouldn't we? I mean, we had a couple of trialists yesterday at the game.
Yeah.
But I think it's blatantly obvious to all fans that we're crying out for a couple of strikers really. I think we're all eager to get through the door. But then I went down to the non-meet the manager event, and he kind of talked about he's in discussions 2-3 players, and JJ's aware we need a striker or 2. So that's going on. But hopefully we have some positive news this week or something.
Definitely good link in. I'm going to quickly play we've got a six. And everyone think we planned this.
I just see Gary Fletcher's comment, which made me laugh.
Yeah. So we've got a 6 minute. I'm going to quickly play a 6 minute segment of. It was more than that. Thanks to Rob who kindly recorded it on that side of it. And then we've got about 15 minutes. So I'm noticing that I've got a really low percentage on my iPad. You can just tell.
So it might be 10 minutes.
You can just tell that this is literally a warm up for Stu. Get you. So yeah, let's quickly go through a quick snippet of what it was yesterday. So I'm just going to quickly mute so George can't talk over it. If you have got headphones or you have the sound we've beefed up as much as possible. Rob obviously used his iPhone that. Because it was so rushed in there, we didn't get a chance to get a proper microphone in. But the sound quality is as good as we can get it. You might want to listen via headphones if you do have them, or if you've got a decent device. But yeah, let's go.
Yeah, just even after the game, we just said what a fantastic place, what a fantastic stadium. The supporters that night was unbelievable. And for the running, or we've actually spoken to the staff that was there, the one thing that they did feel was, even though the situation at times felt very strained as a management team, they really felt that he was behind them as a staff, as a football club. And even when we spoke to the players, they said that whole second half of the season, the support was magnificent. So for us to come and jump into this opportunity, we are really honoured to be here and to be in front of you you don't really get it so much where, we're here tonight to actually listen to you, because in other organisations, the first thing you do is you listen to your customers. And sometimes in football, I remember a famous manager saying about an ostrich playing in the sand, we don't really listen. So for us tonight to come to tell you a little bit about ourselves, to hear your side of the story and what you would like to see, it's really good for us to move forward as a management team that's new to a football club.
Yeah, it's a good idea question. Obviously, recruitment is key, and myself, Terry, and my staff, we've got a clear idea of the types of player that we want to recruit, the positions that we want to recruit, and obviously within our means, that being the budget. So, very much been given autonomy on that, and it's been brilliant with his help so far. And we've got our list of players. Obviously, we have had help from the guys that were in place last season, and there's two good players on those lists, and certainly a little bit of overlap with ours as well. But we've got clearly identified targets that we're pursuing. Lots of plates spinning at the moment, lots of conversations, lots of things really warm, and I'm really hopeful that we'll be able to move very quickly on the ones that we want. At the same time, it's really important that we spend our money wisely, we get the players that we want. So what I won't do is panic and make a sign for the sake of it, just because I feel like we need to get bodies in the building, which we do, but we certainly have to be the right types of players, the right characters. So we are pursuing those constantly. It's an ongoing conversation. We will bring players, the right types, in the positions that we feel like we need. There will be loans, important part of the market as well, low leagues as well to help out. But obviously we want to bring in some permanent players to help us along. So we'll get there. Really confident we'll get there. But we have to obviously be patient as well.
Okay, when you were preparing to play us in your previous role last season, and you did your research on us, what did you feel like vulnerabilities were? Did you research that? And did you think what you found?
Obviously we did research that, but with every team that we come up against, done our homework. One of the things that we did highlight was the sort of the youthfulness of the squad, if you like, and obviously going into the game here, the fragility, if you like, not necessarily of the squad, but of the position that you guys found yourself in at that stage, having gone a while without winning. So we felt like if we could start fast and get these on the back foot in over 50%, or I think it was 46%, was the research that we done. 46% of the games last season was actually level at half time. But then obviously in adversity in the second half of games, we fell away. So obviously that was something that we highlighted as well, and we felt that the squad was maybe lacking in a little bit of physicality that we tried to exploit with set pieces, things like that. And obviously that's something that I'm quite aware of that will be a big part of when we recruit the types that we think about, is trying to bring a little bit more experience and a little bit more physicality to the team. Yeah, because you know, with the youthfulness comes the energy and the enthusiasm, but obviously, you know, not necessarily the know-how to get over the line and scrape those wins when you need to and really dig in. So we need to strike a really good balance. I think all the best teams, the ones that have success, have a bit of both, have both sides to them. So I want to be the most energetic, enthusiastic team in the league. I also want to be the most dogged, resilient, and hardest to beat as well. I think if you can get that balance, then we can be really successful.
Cool, and we are back. So yeah, Rob, appreciate obviously quality wise we got as good as we can. I hope people could hear and obviously take out what he said. George has just disappeared, so unless George has gone to get a better pair of headphones. Rob, it's just me and you, mate.
Going to get a refund on his haircut.
Oh, mate, edit. Oh dear. So I know, obviously, you were. I know you were at the thing. Actually, I know Graham just said I've got to ask how much. Do you know what? I put it up before I really read it. I just got there, forgot. So let's just get on. Yeah, look, Graham, thank you for setting us off with that. So. Trialist yesterday at Bedford, Rob. So we know Josh Parker was the trialist who was used in the second half, wasn't it? What did you think? Oh, George is back. Well, George. 1 second. I think George heard 6 minutes and he just thought, I'll just go. Which is nice, George. Thanks for that. Let's actually put him on the main camera because we can all admire his haircut. George. Good timing, mate, because I remember I left you with the information on who the trialist A was in the first half. Can you let us know?
Yeah, so it was, we're led to believe it was Brandon Pierrick, who came through at Crystal Palace in their academy. He's had a couple of loan spells, played overseas last season, has played in Scotland, but has only had 10 league games in his entire career. But 2 of them were at Palace, so he was clearly highly rated there at one stage, but he's 20, so I thought he did okay, to be honest. Yesterday, I don't know how much he's spoken about the game. I have to restart my laptop. Sorry about that. But I thought he had an okay game. It was a difficult game for someone to impress, but I thought he did okay. Now I hope we'll see more of him over the next certainly the next 2 pre-season games against Eastbourne and Farnborough.
Yeah, and do you know what? It was interesting actually because obviously we didn't know, did we? We were George was trying to use his encyclopedia of knowledge, and we didn't get anywhere near it. But we didn't really know who he was, did we? But do you know what? On reflection, Rob, he did look a player that hadn't played much football. If you look, and don't get me wrong, pre-season, first game of the season, you never match sharp anyway or match fit. So I always think it's very difficult for a trialist to really impress sometimes.
He played 3 games last season.
Yeah, and that was abroad, wasn't it? Was that right?
Yeah,
George,
Denmark.
Yeah, well, that's abroad, George. Last time I checked, Rob.
It's fairly local as abroad, guys, isn't it?
Well, to be fair, it's not Carlisle, is it? Rob, what did you think from him?
He looked like a player with potential. He set up the first goal for Zach Robinson and he put himself about a bit. But I don't know if he's what we're looking for, if I'm honest with you. In terms of it's blindly obvious we need forwards. He's more of a winger. And yesterday we saw Johnny Jackson play a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 kind of formation yesterday. So I'm not convinced he's what we're looking for. But then obviously, do we bring him in as a bit of versatility? You had Dylan Hershey who started yesterday as well, and I would presume they would be both fighting for the same place in the team. And then obviously Aya Basal didn't come on yesterday. He's a similar player as well. Not a number 9, not an out forward, but plays in the in an attacking 3 or can play off a 2. For me, obviously Graham Stacey kind of hinted at a Marquez, which we've been linked with in the press. For me, I think we're crying out for a target man or somebody who can win headers and win flick-ons. Obviously, we had Josh Parker there yesterday, who was at Charlton, Gillingham, Wickham. He would know Johnny Jackson from his time at Charlton, and he looked a bit more of an experienced pro when he came on. Bit better decision making for me and a bit more composed.
Yeah.
And I think that's more what we need. Obviously, having quite a youthful team last season. I don't know if Pierre, is that how you pronounce it, George? Pierre, or was it Patrick? Can't remember. Pierrick. There's a bit of a combination of two. Pierre and Patrick combined.
Pierre now, isn't it?
Yeah, Pierrick. Yeah, I don't know if he's what we're looking for, but I did also see potential in him, and the fact that Crystal Palace have had him on his books and played a couple games. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays against Eastbourne next week, and he still hangs around for a few weeks whilst JJ makes his mind up.
Yeah, and also in terms of Palace have got a good academy as well, so that they bring players through, and it doesn't mean because he doesn't make it at Palace that he can't make it elsewhere, because obviously they're looking at a higher caliber of forward. Just quickly, obviously, we started the rumour, but there was no rumour. Aaron Sal didn't come on. He did have a bit of a knee knock. It wasn't because Barry Fry turned up. Who'd obviously been abroad because he had a super tan, and do you know what, looked really well. I'm not too sure. I was asking how old he is, but he must be 70 easily, George. I would have thought.
At least he's got to be well into his 70s.
But he looked so well. But we did understand that he used to manage and play for Bedford Town, so that's why he was there. But I did notice he was on his phone quite a bit. But no, there's no rumour in that at all.
He was texting Dower saying, "Rudy's not here. I've wasted my time."
Well, yeah, let's go there. Do you know what I mean? Rudy wasn't there, George. Will Nightingale wasn't there. We don't know too much. Obviously, with players, we do know there's players that have been offered contracts. We haven't had any confirmation yet of who has signed those. But obviously, no Anthony Hartigan. So again, these are assumptions, George.
No Nesta, no Osu.
No Nesta, no Osu.
I think Nesta's beyond an assumption. I mean, the club have effectively...
yes, they've said that, haven't they?
The club have effectively confirmed that Nesta's not hanging around.
That's right.
No Hartigan, no Osu. Zach obviously played with nothing announced on him yet.
Yeah. Are we assuming though, George, that if Zach, my assumption is if Zach's there, he's signed. That's an assumption.
Yeah, it'd be strange not to, because he wouldn't be insured if he hadn't signed.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine anyone advising, even Johnny Jackson. I would like to think even us as a club would be telling Zach not to play if he wasn't under contract, because it's just a disaster waiting to happen. Letting a player play when he's not insured.
I can only assume that's why Rudy didn't play. I mean, there's a lot of linking him, in the shop window. I presume we don't want him to pick up a pointless injury. I mean, Asal picked up he said he felt something in the warm up. Obviously, Woody's not, Jay Jackson confirmed Woody's not 100% fit still. It would be crazy, to risk Rudy. And I guess if Zach Robinson wasn't to stay, if he's looking at a club elsewhere, I know some press linked him with Chelsea because of Mark Robinson this week. But, if he is looking at a move elsewhere, it'd be crazy to risk, getting an injury. So you'd like to think, in my opinion, like I said, there's assumptions that he will be part of the squad next season.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to say, obviously, Hussein picked up a knee injury yesterday. It's just so I can't imagine that Zach would have played if it's not close to or fully agreed him staying. Hartigan, I think we all know what's going on there realistically. Osu, I think, the noises coming out about Osu was we wanted him to stay, but again, I think, him not being there means it's not as close, or certainly not a done deal.
Yeah.
And then Rudy, we all know about.
Yeah, and Rob was right, actually. Why would you, let's be fair, it's not a secret that Rudy is being hunted. That's a wrong word. He's being pursued by other teams. So you're right, to pick up a silly injury and for us money is tight, isn't it? And also Rudy, I think we can all probably agree has done his time and probably deserves that move, as long as the team they move to pays as much money as they possibly can. Formation wise yesterday, so I know George, you shook your head at 3-4-3. I think 3-5-2, 3-4-3.
It was 3-4-3. Yeah, I was shaking my head at 3-4-2. It was a 3-4-3.
I'm shaking my head at 3-4-2 because that's not enough players, George.
Or 3-5-2, you said.
We're tight on players, George. We can field 11. We can field 11, just about. But we can disagree on the. We know it's definitely three at the back. One thing I noticed, and I know we discussed yesterday, was when you play three at the back. Normally, when we played it under other people, we played a very narrow three at the back in possession. It was very noticeable yesterday that we split in possession. So our left and right centre backs split and made the pitch quite wide, which left Pearce as the only centre half. Which I don't know about you, George, worries me a little bit in terms of breakdowns and stuff like that. But that's an interesting way that he's looking to play, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is an interesting way, but it is so dependent on the personnel you get in the back three. I mean, you get overload out wide, so it's so important. So it's why I'm a bit hesitant about Marquez, because you need a proper target man, because we're going to dominate the wing. So we're going to get a lot of balls in the middle, so we do want a proper number 9. But looking at the back three, I'll be honest, it concerns me a tiny bit having, because let's be honest, we know 2 of the 3 who are going to be starting that first league game, and that's Pearce and Brown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that just concerns me, because I just think there's not much space there. And if they're wide, if they start getting runners in channels.
Yeah. It was difficult yesterday.
We know what League 2 is from when we went here last time.
And it's different. And it's interesting you say that, but it's still 5 years or 6 years since we've been in League 2, and I'm sure it's progressed. I'm not one to buy into that it's full of big, ugly people, because you can get that.
No, I think it's going to be quick and a higher tempo than a lot of people are expecting it to be.
Exactly, and we know, don't we, Rob? We discussed before on 9 Years Live that the quality is dropping down now. Do you know what I mean? So the top end of the Premier League is getting the best of the best, the cream of the cream, and naturally it has to find somewhere else. So it drops down. So I'm not necessarily of the agreement that you need big ugly players, and I know what you're saying, George, in terms of we need a target man, but equally, if we do stretch the pitch, there was nothing stopping us playing through the middle on that side of it. Rob, yesterday I was really impressed with Jack Curry. Spent a season loan at Eastbourne Borough, and I can't honestly say that I saw loads of him before he went to Eastbourne Borough, but for me, you could see the benefit of him having a full season in a men's league. He looked really good, didn't he, yesterday, Rob?
Yeah, there was 3 people for me who stood out. I felt Alex Pearce, Luke McCormack, and Jack Curry were the 3 who really impressed me yesterday. Like you said, you can really tell Jack Curry's benefited from having a full season. He got in Conference South Player or National South Player of Team of the Year. He seemed high on confidence, and if Osu is to sign, then I feel quite confident those will be our 2 left wing backs next season, fighting it out for a first team position. And I'd like to see
competition, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I'd like to see more of Jack Curry as well. Like I said, it's the first time I've seen him, and for them 45 minutes I was impressed. And I know people who went to the Papa John's game sat in their way, and they said they were really impressed with Jack Curry because him and Beeler both played wing backs that day, and they said he was probably the best player that day as well. So
yeah,
it sounds promising for him. It's a big season for him, because I think he's going to break through to the first team and be the next academy player to be in our first team squad.
And there's a few there, George, isn't it? Because obviously, and there's 2 questions actually on that side of it. Competition-wise, if Osu does sign, they are 2 totally different players in terms of one's pace, one's technical ability. I'm not saying Jack Curry's slow, but we know Osu can 100 metres in whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that's quite an interesting side of it. And also, Alfie Bendel played after having a season loan at Corinthian Casuals. Again, it looks like he's filling out. He's not a beast by he's not a Paul Cannon-Baye, because there's only one Paul Cannon-Baye. But it's interesting, isn't it, our youth products, George?
Yeah, and I think Jack Curry's one that certainly I've been raving about for a couple of years now. I think he's absolutely brilliant for us, and I think he's going to be a big player for us this year. Him and Osu are great, because both of them, you look at players of that age, you don't want either of them having 50-game seasons. So I can see them rotating, having a run of games, 4 or 5 games each, then swapping out. And that's exactly what they both need for their development. So I think that's great for them, both short-term and long-term. And I think that puts us in a good stead for, long-term future. Alfie, I thought, was good again. I don't think Alfie ever has a bad game for anyone he plays for. So I think I think he'll be certainly in our squad this year, first team squad.
So you wouldn't loan him out then, George? No, you keep him.
No, I think you go Woodyard, Marsh, Bendel, and then McCormack can do a job in midfield if you need to as well. And we've got Kwaku in an emergency could play a game or 2 as well. So I think you've got enough options there in midfield. So Bendel needs it. He's good enough. He's 17. I know he's only 17 still, but he's good enough.
Mad, isn't it?
For me, because obviously, it's quite obvious we've lost Guinness, Walker, and Hartigan. I would put Jack Curry and Bendel into the first team squad as replacements. Yeah. They both done their season out on loan, and I would put it this way: watching Bendel and Curry I feel like they're just as good, if not potentially better, than Hartigan and Esteganes Walker. From what and like I said, I've only seen a small period of them.
And it's difficult yesterday, isn't it? Because the opposition, we played someone 3 leagues below us, so let's not get too excited. But equally, you can see, for pre-season sometimes you can see how they come back. And I was, Robbo, when he wanted to make sure players went out on loan, and I was always very keen to see what state they come, not state, but what they come back with. What did they learn? And I thought you saw that already, if I'm being honest with you with that. And also, if we throw into the mix Aaron Cosgrove as well, who
Great. Can we not make that mistake again?
Aaron, it's just going to be called Aaron. Let's just put that on the back of his shirt. Let's deal with that. But he played for Dover last year. I know he come back off loan, but that's a tough loan at Dover because they played one up front. They weren't scoring loads of goals. But again, do you know what? He come back, and I think sometimes when they get this experience, they come back with a bit more confidence because they played. They're not just fitting in anymore, are they, George, on that side of it? So we have got quite I think the players that went out on loan last year, we are now going to thankfully see the benefits. And also, let's be honest with you, we got relegated, so we were a league closer to the level that they were playing at.
Yeah, and I think that those loans are, they are coming good for us now. Aaron, he looked good, and I said on our live show last year after his first game or after his second game for us, I said if he plays for the rest of the season, I think he scores enough to keep us up. Unfortunately, he got his injury, and that meant that we didn't get to see him do that. But I do think he could have got 5-6 goals towards the end of last season in the last 10-15 games when he returned from his loan spell. So I think him and Zach will certainly provide good competition for whoever the strikers we do get in are.
So Graham is obviously hinting there that Rudy's going to go for more than $1 million. I'm joking, mate. You're just... I suppose, do you know what? You don't want to put pressure on these players of going... You're going to be your next £1 million player. You're going to be our most successful, because actually, what you want is you want a group of them coming up, don't you? And then there's not so much pressure on them, because I felt sometimes with Rudy, he had that pressure, didn't he? Because he was the one person that come through. If we're looking in the recent time, but yeah, what do we reckon in terms of? Let's go on to transfer news and stuff like that. So, are we expecting Rudy to be out the door this week, George?
I don't know if it'll happen this week, but I'd be amazed if he's here in September because, it's public knowledge he's out of contract next summer. We do need to get rid of him. If we're getting offers, we want £1 million for him. We've had offers of 500 grand for him. That's all public. You have to take that money, because if you don't take that money, we lose him for a free, and that's happened too many times for us in the past. So I think we have to take the money, even if it's not what we want.
And I was saying yesterday, Rob, wasn't I? I was bouncing in the playing devil's advocate. Really, is that if we are saying that we are going to keep Rudy, or we're not going to just let him go for peanuts, as we have on other players, we've got to be prepared to go. Do you know what? Rudy will be in our squad for the first game of the season, realistically. And I'm going to go to Rob first, George. On that side of it. But I'm not against Rudy being in, and I know I've been moaning heavily we keep losing players for nothing, and I have, and I appreciate that. I'm not going to be a hypocrite here, but I overly disappointed if we don't get the bid that we need, and we say, do you know what, we play Rudy, we play him for half a season or whatever, because Rudy in League Two is going to be immense. I'm not saying we do that, but Rob, would you probably, what are your thoughts on that? Would you want to play hardball, or do you know what, we're going to get rid of him? He's not going to be in our starting lineup for the first game of the season.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I do see both sides of the argument. I mean, part of me, I think it's best for all parties if we could get the right offer, for example, this week, and sell him. I think most of the squad went up north to train, and I think obviously that might be a reason Rudy didn't play yesterday, because he's obviously stayed behind in case maybe we do get an offer. So I think it might be best for all parties he moves on. But my understanding is we want the money up front, or the right money. I think most fans are a bit frustrated with us, losing players on the cheap or, next to nothing. So I think it's a case of, like I said, I can see both arguments. It's like, if we don't get the right offer, then, let's keep him and play him.
Interesting point there, George. Sorry, Rob, just got an interesting point there, isn't it, from Graham? Anyone, I think you know something.
But I think that's the thing, is that you do have to work out, and you've got to be, the compensation scheme isn't exactly fair to clubs of our size. So
no, it's not.
You've got to have 100% certainty in what you're going to get. And let's be honest, we put a price on how much League One is worth to our club in January when we took 500 grand for Palmer. So I think we do need to be we have to be aware of how much that's worth to us.
On a flip side, obviously it's no secret really. We just sold 2 academy lads. One went to Rangers, one went to Wolves this past week, and I believe we got 6 figures for both potentially. Like I said, it's only potential. But does that maybe take off the pressure to sell Rudy for 500 grand, for example, because we've just sold 2 academy players and got some money in the door that way?
I don't think so, because you look at it and that's, if you all those players, if you combine all of that, let's say we got 6 figures for both, which I'm not saying.
Say we got 100 grand for each.
Yeah, if we got 100, if we got 100 grand each, which we're not saying we did, we're just speculating.
Yep.
Then that's 200 grand. That's less than 4 grand a week, and we know what 4 grand a week gets you, and it's not massive.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, and it's not great. So I don't think it takes the pressure off much at all. It makes it a bit easier, but really that money's more likely to go to a squad player, because you look at the Rudy money, and if we get $1 million, which I think it's been reported that's what we're after. If we are able to get that, then all of a sudden you're looking at being able to get in 1 or 2 really high quality strikers, and the Donch Trust have said it's we want to be pushing top 7 this year.
But if the Donch Trust are saying we want to push top 7 this year, and we sell Rudy, I mean Rudy guarantees, in my opinion, double-figure goals and probably double-figure assists potentially. I mean, he scored 12 goals, 9 assists in League One, so I would expect 15 goals minimum in League Two.
Yeah, and
you could make an argument. It's what, like you said, what Stu said. It's worth hardballing and keeping him in League Two.
And that's why I'm saying it. And George, just quickly, I know we're going to come in, and that's why I'm saying it, because actually, do you know what? We can say we got relegated, and we did, but we also know we didn't have the forwards that we needed. And actually, if we look at what comes from McCormick, Rudy, and Asal, not saying we're going to play the same formation, but we might play 2 10s in there. It's one of those, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Do you go for it? Because realistically, if we didn't let him, and the point from Graham is interesting actually, because if we didn't let him go and we got compensation, that compensation doesn't come straight away because it goes through the tribunal, George, doesn't it? From my understanding.
So if he went for a tribunal, he'd leave in the summer of 2023. Realistically, we wouldn't get the money until summer 2024 transfer window.
And that's the problem with compensation, isn't it? So, and that's, obviously with the youth players, and I think what would be interesting moving forward, we do get quite a lot, don't we? Sometimes people are going, is the academy worth it? Do we get enough money? These players that have been announced that have gone, they're not alone in what's gone before. We obviously know Leo Castledane went to Chelsea. But, George knows more than me in this. But we do get regular money in from the academy players. We don't... Yes, we want to see them in the first team, but that's not always the case. And you do lose them early. But actually, you could argue, by letting these go to Wolves and go to Rangers, we've got money in the bank. For our work, George, and that is what it is. It's our work, our progression. We've got benefit out of it, haven't we?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think not enough people realise this about the academy, but every year we are selling a very large number of players to Premier League and Championship clubs. I mean, this week it was Michael Hamilton said it in one of the interviews done with him. We've sold 4 players to Premier League clubs in the last week, and the one to Rangers. Archie going to Rangers, so we're getting money for all of these. It's it's not a loss leading thing. The academy we make a profit on if you include minutes played by first teamers.
But does that not reduce the pressure to reduce Rudy? I mean, I'm just going to throw this out here. Imagine a front 3 of Rudy, Asal, and Marquez. That would just tear it up in League Two.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you do that, you lose Rudy next summer. And if like Doob said, we get 300 grand for Rudy under Compo, if that was right. If we do that, trying to replace 15 goals a season for 300 grand doesn't happen. And we know that.
But the devil's advocate in that, and I get where you're coming from, because this is why I'm throwing it out. The devil's advocate is that we surely would have a decent chance of being automatic or playoffs with Rudy, Maka, and Asal. I know you're shaking your head, George, and I can see it more now because you've had a haircut.
you say that you don't get 15 goals for 300 grand. Can I just remind you how much Lyle Taylor and Joe Pigott cost? Less than 300 grand.
Only not so much if you include wages, but.
Yeah, but then you could say that about once you start including Rudy's wages.
I know, but then for them, I could say Cosgrove or Cressy or You know, we can't just keep going 1-on-1 because we can keep doing that all evening. But
Yeah.
I think it's the thing is we have to be real. We're replacing Rudy either this summer or next summer. We're replacing Rudy, and the question is, do we replace him with between 500 grand and 1 million, or do we replace him with 300 grand? Because if we get between 500k and 1 million for him, that's 2 replacements. If we lose him for 300 grand, we've got very limited options and probably 1 free transfer.
Yeah.
Especially if we get promoted with him, because then the whole wage budget of the whole club has to go up. So we'd have even less to spend on him.
We're going to need to wrap up in a little while because I've got dinner and then my wife will probably divorce me very soon if that. It's an
And Love
interesting
Island's on in 10 minutes.
but it's an interesting discussion because I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to this. I think there's opinions either side of it, and I suppose just for me closing up, yes, we could lose Rudy next summer and have to replace him. But wouldn't it be nice if we'd had loans out this summer that come back into the squad from our academy? It's that having that progression, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not just Rudy isn't just our star academy player. We've had Asal come through. We've got a few in the academy we're hopeful for. We want Frimpong to whack people as much as he can.
I would say the player who I had earmarked to replace Rudy has gone to Rangers.
But he's not our only. Yes, but he's not our only. We've got Williams, haven't we, on 17 in the Welsh squad, and I know there's all different positions. But what I'm saying is that we aren't just going. This is our. If we go back to the 7 Man United players, I'm not trying to compare them, but they all come in one go, didn't they? But realistically, they then had others coming through underneath that. So we haven't just got a golden generation. We have got others.
You see Dylan Hershey's coming through now, and then obviously you saw Marcel Campbell, who signed a professional contract to come on second half as a sub. So you do see that conveyor belt of talent coming through, and that's why I'd also potentially you could make an argument to keep Rudy, because these players will have another year or two to develop, and then might be ready for the first team.
And we don't know also, do we, if that Rudy money, and I think we've got a hunch that Rudy money we want up front to invest. So, we've had these rumours about Marquis and stuff like that, and it could be a case that we need that money to go in and sign that. So, Josh Parker, I know you were really impressed with George yesterday. I'm being horrible with that. Yeah. Would you? Do you know what? Josh Parker, which is worrying when you remember when he was younger, when he came to yours, and now he's at the end of his career. I think it all depends, George, doesn't it, of what we've got in store? Because if he's going to be our main striker, and I agree with you on this, he's been out for a year and he isn't prolific. But it all depends, doesn't it, really, on what we fill in at the top end of our forwards.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying to you guys at the game yesterday, was if he was going to come in as a 3rd or 4th choice striker, I think he'd be a good option. Obviously he'd be getting limited minutes, but that probably suits him with his injury record and the number of games he's played over the last 5 or 6 years. But you've got Aaron Cosgrave, you've got Zach Robinson, who are realistically your 3rd and 4th choice strikers with what our targets are for next season. And so you're looking for a 1st and 2nd choice striker. So you're looking for 2 strikers to get well into double-digit goals for the season. Yeah. And Josh Parker is in League 2.
But do you know what I'm going to say, Rob, as well? And I probably shouldn't bring this right at the end because it will cause discussion, but we can always go on to this another time. 5 subs next year. Yeah. And I put a question into Aaron Paul on his 606 last week, and he had 2 managers on there. I'm going to leave it at that. But I put a question in there about, does your tactics change? So it does, though. And you're right, though, George, when you're saying 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th striker. But do we have a 5th, budget-wise? Yeah, hear me out. Because realistically, you can make 3 subs at 70 minutes if you haven't made them in the other side of it. So I'd be interested to see how, and it's definitely a question I want to ask Johnny Jackson. So no one nick it at Meet the Manager. But it is definitely a question to ask of, is he going to think about doing that? 3 subs? Because we've seen it, haven't we? In lockdown we saw it. So maybe the dynamics of your squad setup does change.
I was going to say, if we're playing 3-4-3 like George says, then you could make an argument for you do need a 5th striker. As well.
Chucking it out, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you mustn't forget the reason we got promoted out of League 2 last time was we had the like-for-like swaps up front, when we had Bayo and Elliott swapping and Lyle and Adi Aziz swapping.
Who was that under, by the way? Who did that manager-wise, George?
I don't know. It was Simon Bassey recruitment, wasn't it?
He's a lucky manager, that Mr. Ardley. But yeah, no, you're right. You're spot on. And how many times did we do 60 minutes and 2 for 2, didn't we? And they were so effective, which is why I'm saying, could you? And this is, what I know. Nick loves the idea of 5 subs coming through, but I'm really intrigued to see how, because it does change the game. The game tactically changes massively. So I'm really keen to see how it
I
goes.
would say when I was talking about strikers, I meant the number 9, not the
Not the
wider.
10s in behind,
not-
and yeah.
Yeah, not the wide forwards, because I do. If you need 6 players, because I always say you need a squad of 22. You need 2 players in each position.
Yeah.
So if you do include those as a front 3, you need 6 forwards if you count them all as forwards.
I suppose we have got Asal, Cosgrave, Robinson. That's already 3 of them, right?
Yeah, and that's the you've got enough options there. You just need, but you still need 3 to come in, and you've got McCormick could potentially be one of them as well. So you've got McCormack, you've got Ayew. At the moment, we've still got Rudy on our books. So you've still got loads of 3. You've still got probably the wide players. You need one more in, and then you just need probably 1 central striker,
Definitely. And as you know,
2 central strikers.
great comment there. Don't sell your cream too early, especially if you haven't put it on your gatto before you've had it on that side of it. Guys, a bit of a longer one. Obviously, thanks for Matt for joining us. But do you know what? It's good to be back. Good for positivity. Yes, the team are away on a team bonding exercise up north somewhere. And we're hopeful that they come back with some new players, maybe. Not like nicked anyone from up north. And then we go into Eastbourne Borough, which I'm sure is an agreement we had with Jack Curry, obviously going.
You said it's good to be back. It was just good to see a win yesterday, Stu. I'm taking that as a win. I don't care if it's pre-season and it was against Bedford, who I don't know what division they're in. It's a win, 2-0. It felt amazing.
Division how far down?
No, it could be it could be a Sunday League team as long as we beat them.
It did. Do you know what? It's a very good point. I don't know about you, George, but it did feel fresh. It felt fresh in terms of, hey, look, I got over relegation within 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm really excited with Johnny, and stuff like that coming in. But it did feel fresh. You're right, and pre-season doesn't always guarantee you. Doesn't guarantee you're going to run into a season in top form, but I think look, we're talking about forwards. We didn't have any last year, did we? So it's nice to think we've got forwards coming in. But yeah, so Eastbourne Borough next week, and then Farnborough Town. Is it Farnborough Town? I'm not too sure if it's a town or not. Farnborough. Yeah, no, I was thinking that, George. I'm not too sure it's Farnborough Town or not. They will change now, aren't they? And then we go into the 3 home games, which I'm looking forward to. So it's all good. So I'm going to throw a question out. Is Marquis coming in this week or not, guys? George?
I hope so, because I think it'd be. Thanks for that one, Stu.
I love it.
I think he'd be a good one. Like I said, I think especially if we're looking to get 2 strikers in, I think he'd be good to have one of them, and providing the other one's a proper old school number 9 to just give us that option of if we need to start putting the ball back in the mixers. But Marquis is one of the 2 would be a good option.
Rob?
I'm going to say yeah, he is, and the reason for that is I think the South London Press linked us with us and Gillingham. Charlton apparently ruled out, and apparently I was told yesterday Gillingham have a lot of financial trouble when they're putting their club up for sale. So it leaves us the only team in the running. So Marquez, new number 9, signing this week. I'm putting it out there. I don't know anything, by the way.
No, and
hopeful.
And I don't either. I think my opinion on it is, I think if we get Marquis, we've done really, really well. However, and also let's be fair to Marquis. He doesn't. I don't know where he's training at the moment, and players don't be training on their own.
New Malden. He's training at New Malden.
I love that. But what I mean by that is he's not going to want to hang this out too long. He's going to want to be part of a training setup and a club. So I would expect him to move somewhere this week by latest. I would have thought, because he's different to the players that just want to try and get a contract. He knows he's going to be in demand because of his his CV and stuff like that. But he is going to want.
Can I just say, Stu, there was a lot of movement, wasn't there, on the 1st of July when everyone's contracts expired. So I agree with you. I do think he's going to want to, get involved. Most players who now want to probably start getting their deals wrapped up, get involved with pre-season. Otherwise, season starts later this month, like at the end of this month. So they're going to want to get match fit, aren't they? They're not going to want to drag it out.
We're less than 4 weeks away from the first game.
30th of July, isn't it? And obviously, I know with George with the women's team and stuff like that, the Euro Championships coming up, start next week. I'm really looking forward to
this week for the women's Euro start. This week.
Sunday start of the week, and you're right. This week it starts Wednesday, doesn't it? Can I just say I'm still amazed that they didn't think of getting Plough Lane for one. I know it might have been too,
especially considering they've got the Man City training ground being played.
You nicked my line, George.
I'm not gonna comment because I'd say something that would get me in trouble. But
yeah,
what's this for the women's Euro?
It's embarrassing. It's nothing short of embarrassing.
I'm confused. What are you talking about? The women's Euros.
The women's Euros, which do you know what I think would be really. I like the ladies' football at the top end in terms of international level is something really good to watch. You know, it does struggle as you come down the level.
So they're using
Tier 4 is also really good to watch, especially at Plough Lane.
So they're
that's
hang on.
it.
The women's Euros are using Man City's training ground as one of the.
So they've
it's-
sold out Old Trafford, they've sold out Wembley, and they've put three games on at Man City's academy training ground, which
How much
is
does that hold?
But let's,
9,000.
yeah,
They
9,000.
could add it
for
at Plough
Canada.
Lane. I mean, we hosted Man City Chelsea,
Yeah.
didn't we? So they could have had
Yeah,
it.
but let's clarify that a little bit. Man City do use that as their home stadium, so it is used for them. But you're right. You know,
They're
if you
Williamson,
look
yeah,
at,
but it's
yeah, if you look at the levels, and it probably come too early for us to get Plough Lane in there. But you just think, do you know what? That would have been great for us. Maybe in other tournaments and stuff like that. Go
At
on,
least
go
we've
on.
got the London Broncos.
And that's where we end.
and on that note, thank you, George.
Don't want to get me in trouble. There you are, an hour and a half.
Yeah, I
special.
can't speak.
An hour and a half special. It won't be every Sunday, 'cause obviously we are doing the 9 Years Live TV this season. We will be starting that as from the first home pre-season game. But yeah, whenever we can get in there, we'll have a chat. It's been good. I've enjoyed it. George, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rob, as always, mate, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, lads.
And yeah, so European Championships for the women's this week, and then hopefully some sightings.
Oh, hang on. And anyone viewing or watching live at the moment, Love Island's about to start, so enjoy it. 'Cause
I did see a comment from Graham Stacey. Let me just go back.
I thought it was
He lit-
Gary Fletcher. I thought it was Gary Fletcher. who
Was
said
it Gary? Was it?
Yeah, I think it was Fletcher.
Oh,
I
it
didn't
was
have
Gary.
Fletcher.
Gary,
I didn't
don't-
have Gary Fletcher down as a Love Island fan. but
Don't
it is
tell me you watch.
Kaza Amor starts tonight, so
Is that where?
So-
Do you know what? I'm not what. No, I'm getting myself in trouble here. We talk about vain people. Crikey, yeah, chuck them into a villa. And do you know what? Years ago, I'm not going to go around, but years ago, if we said we were watching Love Island, come on, what is the world coming to? Like,
Well,
yeah.
Aaron Paul confessed he watches Coronation Street today, so
Did he
I don't feel
really?
so- Yeah, he confessed he watches Corrie, so I
No
don't feel
wonder
so
he's gonna
bad.
come on this. He's in
I don't feel
hiding.
so bad watching Love Island now. Who watches soaps in 2022?
But then, Joe, to be fair, Aaron is a Manculian in terms of watching Man
True.
United, and
He
they've
put-
just and with Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't want to be at Coronation Street any longer. But let's move on that. Cool, guys. See you later.